So what is okra? It is, in case you are unfamiliar with it, which you're probably not, it is this thing right here. Looks like a little pot. Oh, but first I'm gonna preheat this pan. 2 tablespoons of butter. If you're vegan, you can use olive oil. It just won't taste as good. Putting that on medium-high. I have prepped here already half of a red onion, a huge clove of garlic, and these lovely heirloom cherry tomatoes, some fresh basil, and some fresh corn. I also have 1 green zebra and 1 red zebra tomato from my garden. I have purposely not prepped the okra yet, and that is because the first way that you can reduce slimage in your okra is to cut it right before it goes into the pan. This pan will be ready for the vegetables in just a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and start cutting it now. So if you look inside, you'll see it looks like a bit of a star, and it has these big seeds inside that pop in your mouth. It's really neat. But the instant you cut it open, it starts getting slimy. That's unavoidable. I'm going to cut the tips of both sides of these okras off and then cut them into bite-sized chunks. You can buy frozen okra, of course, but it does not work for this application as far as I'm concerned. Okra is in season in the latter half of the summer, and I have never seen it available at any mainstream supermarket. You'll probably only find it in farmers markets and gourmet places, or of course you can grow it in your garden. It's also very popular, at least in Japan, so you'll probably also find okra in Asian markets. Japanese people don't mind slime in their food. Okay, I'm not even finished cutting my okra yet, and my butter is starting to brown a little bit and sizzle, so it's definitely ready for something. So I'm going to put in the onions. We don't want the butter to burn while we're waiting. Put a little salt and let it soften a little bit. I didn't put the garlic in yet because it would burn if I did. Also, in flavor and in texture, and even slightly in appearance, I find okra resembles a green bean. It's like a big, thick green bean with slimy seeds in the middle of it. Alright, so our okra's all cut now. And we don't want to let it sit here and get slimy, so I'm going to put it right in. Make sure your okra is evenly distributed. It's really tempting to stir it right now, but really resist that temptation, because stirring is another thing that causes more slime to happen. So if you just let it sit there, stir fry, don't stir fry, that won't happen so much. Get a little fresh thyme off of your thyme plant and just scrape the leaves in there. Also going to add some pepper flakes. I don't know how well you could see that right now, but I see one of these okras is bubbling up in the middle of itself. That's a good sign that they're cooking. So at this point we can shift the okra a little bit. Think of flipping and shifting rather than stirring. And then we can add the rest of our ingredients. More salt. And I know it's really tempting to stir it, but again, just shift the contents of your pan gently. They've been in here for about a minute, so I'm going to shift them now. It's almost done. We're just going to develop a sauce with some white wine. And that's another point of making good okra that doesn't have so much of a slime factor, is having enough acidity in your dish. We did that with tomatoes and with the white wine. Let this sit and simmer for 1 to 2 minutes. It's been a couple minutes and we have a nice little sauce that has developed from the wine and the tomatoes. I'm going to turn it off. You can eat the succotash on its own if you're a dieting person. You can have it on the side of a nice piece of fish or steak or roasted chicken, or you can have it with a grain. In this case I have white rice. Brown rice would definitely be better. Quinoa, whatever you call it, would also be pretty good with this. And behold its summery, not so slimy goodness. So there you have it, a way to prepare okra, a little-known vegetable, in a nice way that is more palatable to Americans who don't necessarily like their food to be super slimy. There is still a little bit of slime in this dish, so if you're one of those people that's just, slime, you probably just shouldn't even try okra. But it's comparable to if you make a soup stock that has a lot of bones in it, and it's really like smooth and velvety and gelatinous. It's similar to that. That's what happens to this dish. I can't believe I ever didn't like you.